Hi, my name is Kiana Holland, and I am the Food Sovereignty Program Administrator within the Community Health Services Department at APIA. And food sovereignty is the right of people to healthy and culturally appropriate food produced through ecologically sound and sustainable methods, and it's their right to define their own food and agricultural systems. Next, we're going to be going over some of the ongoing activities that we have in our program, including grants, projects, and upcoming events. I wanted to briefly go over some workshops that have occurred recently throughout the region and virtually. For example, a few virtual webinars that we've hosted recently within our program have included Intro to Gardening in the Aleutian region and a webinar on hydroponic growing in the Aleutian region. We have also helped to put together some in-person classes in various communities, including Atka, King Cove, Sandpoint, and others. And some of those in-person classes include topics like pest mitigation strategies, introduction to caring for poultry, various gardening and food preservation series, hydroponic classes, and other pressure canning and food preservation topics as well. Some of those classes were put together through various grants that we've received, such as funding from the Rural Cap Foundation and the Native American Agricultural Fund, and then other workshops have been put on through our partnership with the UAF Tribal Extension Program, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Our food sovereignty program is also piloting a hydroponic system in our office. You can see here photos on the left and the right showing the initial growth of herbs and other leafy greens and then what it looked like a few weeks later. And this has been a really fun project that we've been working on here to test this unit and see how well it's able to grow produce. If you're interested in reading more about it, there's a blog post featuring the APIA hydroponic unit on this QR code here, and you can access that by scanning the QR code with your phone. Additionally, we have a quarterly food sovereignty newsletter and food sovereignty Instagram page, and you can sign up for the newsletter or follow the Instagram with these two QR codes below. One grant that our food sovereignty program is currently working on in partnership with the Native Village of Atka includes the CDC Tribal Practices for Indian Wellness grant. This grant has the primary goal to improve mental and physical health outcomes among the Aleutian and Pribilof communities, as well as strengthen the cultural connections between individuals and traditional practices. This grant hosts various activities, including things like traditional workshops, media events, and community events. And next, I wanted to share a brief video from last year's digital media workshop in Atka.
Today we went crawling for Casocus, Ohoganos, and Amaholus. We used knives to get the Casocus off the rocks. Then we put them in buckets with seawater. We crawled during the low tide and picked the Amaholus. We found them under the kelp. We found Ohoganos in between the rocks too. And some of my aunties taught us how to open the Ohoganos. My family loves going crawling at low tide.
We go what we call crawling, which means going along the rocks by the shore at low tide and getting tidal foods. In the early summer, one of the tidal foods we look for are anguillas. These fish lay their eggs in the dense clusters of certain types of kelp. We look under the kelp and pick them off if we find them.
Today we went crawling for Casocus, sea urchin, puggy eggs, and seaweed. We use knives to get the casukis off the rocks. Then we put them in buckets with seawater. We crawl during low tide and pick the pogie eggs. We find them under the kelp. We found sea urchins in between the rocks too. There were little fish swimming in the tide pools. Pogie eggs are my favorite out of them all.
Our food sovereignty program also houses the UAF Tribal Extension Program, and through this program, they offer in-person and Zoom workshops on gardening and food preservation. They're able to answer questions over email or phone, and they also create content and share resources on gardening, growing and cooking food at home, and how to safely preserve food at home. If you have any questions about the Tribes Extension Program, you can reach out to Kiana Holland, the Food Sovereignty Program Administrator, or Heidi Rader, who's the Alaska Tribes Extension Agent, and you can request workshops at the Cooperative Extension Service website. Recent Tribes Extension activities include an annual seed distribution program, a spring gardening workshop that was held in March, and then regular meetings with a geodesic dome working group. Another grant that the Food Sovereignty Program is recently wrapping up is the LFPA program. LFPA stands for Local Foods Purchase Assistance, and this program provided shipments of Alaskan-produced, unprocessed foods to the communities of Atka and Nikolsky around once per quarter. These deliveries provide consistent access to locally sourced products in remote areas. This program did just end in April 2026, but we're currently looking to secure alternate funds from other sources to continue the program. We were recently awarded a Farm to School grant from the USDA, and with this grant, we plan to collaborate with APIAs Head Start programs to increase the amount of local foods present in child nutrition program sites in the Aleutian and Pribilof Islands region. We're really excited about beginning to work on this grant in collaboration with Head Start, and we're hoping that this program will help to improve relationships with local producers, as well as solidify distribution pathways that will improve access to local foods in the region's Head Start programs, including locally grown produce, as well as wild-farmed subsistence foods such as local salmon. This program will also improve gardening self-efficacy among community members through comprehensive agricultural education, as well as technical assistance provided by our partnering organization, the UF Tribes Extension Program. If you have any questions about APIA's Food Sovereignty Program, please feel free to contact me at Kiana, KIANAH, @apiai.org.